Hello, everybody. I'm Jem Madrone, and tonight we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about how relationships often fall apart during the awakening process, how common it is to see significant relationships dissolve, fade away, implode, or completely explode in completely chaotic and dramatic ways. This happens, it feels like almost in almost everybody going through the transformational process, that we lose significant people in our lives. Whether it's our partners, our husbands, our wives, our best friends, just our good friends, our community, family members. It's really common to lose certain relationships. And sometimes we lose almost everybody in our life for a short period of time. And then slowly people that are more vibrate more similar to where we are in this new transformation, this new evolution comes in. But before that happens, we have to go through the dying of the old relationships. We have to go through the death of the attachments and the connections with the people that were so close to us in our lives. And this happens because we're changing so quickly and so rapidly. And often we're in a place where, for the first time in possibly in our entire lives, we realize that we get to choose, that we get to choose who's in our lives. We get to choose, which vibration we have around us. We get to choose whether we want those negative people in our lives or not. And usually, as we move through the transformational process, and as so much of our old self begins to fall away, we no longer have tolerance for that negativity. We no longer have tolerance for that low vibration. We no longer have tolerance for other people's judgments and other people's anger and hatred. And so we move away from those things that no longer vibrate with us and no longer help us on this journey. And our significant relationships, especially ones that have a lot of history to them, were built from a very unconscious place. If they were built when both partners were deeply unconscious, then the foundation of that relationship is deeply unconscious. It's based on codependency. It's based on fears. It's based on expectations. It's based on judgments. It's based on limiting beliefs. And as soon as those things start to shift in our life, then those relationships, there is no foundation. There's nothing left for it to stand on. And so as that falls away, we also begin to see our own codependent natures and how codependent we really are at the core. And I think that codependency is the disease of the past generations. And I see that we have the potential to shift that in this time. But if we look at our parents and their parents and their parents, we learned codependency from all of them. That's how the majority of people built their relationships. That's how we were taught that a relationship was supposed to function, that you just totally put everything and invest everything into that person and expect them to give everything you need to you. And we know that that not only is totally impossible, but it's completely unhealthy. And it's actually the exact opposite of what we're trying to achieve in the awakening process. Because awakening is about releasing attachments on every level. And codependency is the manifestation of those deep attachments in this lifetime. And so we can't move through the awakening process without releasing, looking at examining our codependent natures and learning how to let that go, learning how to stand as an individual in our power, in our strength, in fully and consciously choosing what we want to have in our life from moment to moment. And it's really exciting and really empowering when we realize that we have the strength and we have the ability and we can do that. We can choose exactly who we want around us and what we want around us. But that doesn't mean that it's not painful. It doesn't mean that it's not difficult to release those relationships. It's so difficult to draw those boundaries and to make it clear to people that you're not tolerating their bullshit anymore, that you don't have space in your life for their negativity, or that it's simply just time for that relationship to end. And when I was going through, right in the middle of my awakening process, I went through a divorce. And it was definitely the direct result of that awakening, and that it just, our our relationship, like I said, had nothing to stand on anymore. And it was difficult because I didn't really know what was happening at that point. So it was really hard for me to communicate to my partner, and he was not only in denial of what was going on, but also didn't understand at all. And so I got to a point where I just had deep compassion for both of us. And that is kind of what was able to carry us through that process. And now we can be friends and raise our kids together. But having compassion for the people in our lives, even if they drive us crazy, even if they're so negative and trigger the shit out of us, having compassion and knowing that they're going through their own human path just like we are. And so we need to make the choices that feel best for us, that honor us and honor our soul, with deep compassion for the people around us. And so I just empower you all to do that, to consciously choose and create your life, because you truly are the creator of your own reality, of your own life. And once we really own that, then life can be just amazing. And the changes that happen once we let go of the things that don't serve us anymore are just phenomenal. They're just ridiculous. It may take some time for the dust to settle and for the new opportunities to come, but it will happen. And it happens and begins in the soul, in the center of your being is where it starts. And then the ripple effect, once we allow that to grow, the ripple effect is amazing. So if you're in this process and you're feeling pretty devastated by loss of relationship and loss of friends and just really having a hard time, but you're completely dedicated to this process of transformation and growth, if you're really struggling and looking for some help, then please reach out to me, private message me, and we can talk and see if we're a good fit to work together. Until then, keep creating your reality, loving the shit out of yourself, and I will see you all in the Facebook group. Have a great night.